Good morning, everyone. Before I begin, I want you to think about something. Every day, companies generate humongous amounts of data, but data alone doesn't help. So, what really matters is, can we understand it or can we use it to make decisions? And that's exactly where Power BI comes in. So, my name is Siddhi Pandey, and today I'll be guiding you through how we can take raw, unstructured data and turn it into meaningful insights using Power BI. But before we move ahead, I just want to check, are you guys doing great? Great. So let's continue. In this session, we won't just learn features, we'll think like analysts, we'll explore data, ask the right questions, and uncover what the numbers are actually telling us. And before we move into the hands on part, let's quickly walk through the PowerPoint presentation to build a clear understanding of the concepts. I'll also be sharing this PPT with all of you so you can revisit it anytime. Okay, so let's get started. Now, starting with the very first slide. Yes, as you can see on screen, this presentation is about retail sales and profitability analysis using Power BI. So, if you look at the title carefully, it already explains the purpose of the entire project. Now, retail sales means we are analyzing how products are being sold. And profitability means we are not just focusing on sales but also understanding whether the business is actually making profit or facing any loss. And Power BI is the tool that helps us convert this raw data into meaningful insights. So, overall, this project is about understanding business performance, not just in terms of revenue, but in terms of smart decision making. So, moving on with our next slide. Yes. So let's quickly look at what we'll be covering today. We'll begin by understanding the problem statement. Then we'll learn what Power BI is. After that, we'll explore Power BI Desktop. And finally, I'll guide you through how to download and get started with. So overall, we are following a simple flow from understanding the problem to using the right tool to solve it. Getting my point? Hope I'm clear so far. Okay, so now coming to the problem statement. Suppose we are working with a retail data set where the challenge is not just to look at sales numbers, but to truly understand the business performance. So, for that, we need to identify which areas are performing well, which ones are underperforming, and what factors are affecting profit. The goal is to convert raw data into meaningful insights, right? So that we can actually support better decision making. I hope this makes sense, right? We are not just analyzing data, we are also solving a business problem. So, as the problem statement says that there's a retail company who wants to analyze its sales performance and identify opportunities to improve revenue and profitability. And we have already one data set stored with us in the form of CSV format, that is Superstore data set. So, we will develop an interactive Power BI dashboard that enables management to monitor business performance, identifying trends, and make data driven decisions. So, also, we'll be following data preparation along with DAX measures, executive dashboards, and then business and insights, which will be the concluding part. So, the question is, how do we do that effectively, like without any much problem? So, this is where Power BI comes in. So Power BI is a business intelligence tool developed by Microsoft. Kindly write it down who developed it, and that makes or helps us analyze data and create interactive visual reports. So instead of looking at complex tables, it allows us to represent data using charts, graphs, and dashboards, making it much easier to understand pattern and trends. Are you getting my point? It's all about making data simple and visual. So quickly write it down all these points: interactivity, handles, scale. These are the characteristics of Power BI, automation, data modeling, and obviously speed to start. Now, talking about Power BI Desktop, the screen which you'll be seeing once you'll be downloading the Power BI. Now, to work with Power BI, we use Power BI Desktop, which is very true. This is the main application where all the work happens. So, we import data, clean it, transform it, create visualizations, and design dashboards. So, you can think of it as your workspace where the entire report is built before sharing it. Hope I'm clear till here, right? So this is where the real work happens. So it is being divided into three parts. The left side of the screen comprises of ribbon, three views, along with the middle part, that is the canvas, which is blank white area where we actually build our dashboard. And the right side of the screen comprises of the fields pane, visualizations pane, and the filters pane. Don't worry, guys, I'll be demonstrating it with the live hands-on experimentation as well, which we'll be doing on Superstore CSV dataset. Okay. Now talking about the downloading and installation part. Okay. So it's very simple. You just need to visit the official website, Microsoft's, and search for Power BI Desktop and download it for free. Once installed, you can immediately start working with your data because it's beginner friendly and easy to use. Apart from that, suppose you are not using Windows as your operating system, I have also mentioned how to download it on Mac OS and Linux operating system and other like Fedora, Debian, and so on. So you can follow these steps. Kindly note it down, or there's no need of noting it down as well because I'll be demonstrating it with a practical uh, experiment as well. So, all clear till here? I hope so. Great. So with that, we now clearly understand the flow, the problem, and the tool we will be using, right? So let's quickly come to the next slide, which talks about data preparation. Kindly note it down. This is the very first step which we do. So this is important because before we create visuals, our data needs to be clean and well structured. So the very first thing which we do in data preparation is we import the data set into Power BI. So this is where our analysis journey begins. I'll share all the PPT and each and every information with you. So there's no need to be getting worried about it. The very first thing is importing the data. Then we check for the missing values and duplicates because incorrect or repeated data can lead to wrong insights, right? Next, we assign the correct data types. For example, dates should be in date format, numbers as numeric. Why we are doing it? So Power BI can process them accurately uh, when finally we are building our dashboards. Now, after that, we rename the tables properly, like naming it orders, so it becomes easy to understand and work with. Okay, I'll be telling you, please don't be in a confusion state what I'm saying about. I'll be demonstrating all these things practically, so you can relate it with the content of this slide as well. Now, we also create date table which helps in time based analysis. So why we are creating date table is for doing time based analysis. And if we are creating a date table, so we have to also check whether the relationship exists between the date table and the order table or the superstore data which we already have. Is that so? So we can build relationship between tables so all the data connects properly and works as one complete model. Getting my point? Hope I'm clear. So this step is all about preparing the data before analysis. All right. You can see modeling tab, new table, new column, and a lot of queries like day table, calendar. What is this? You guys might be confused about, but don't, there's no need to be getting confused. Once I'll start working with the practical hands-on, then everything will be getting more relatable and clearer to you. Okay, perfect. Now, the second is the DAX measures, right? Measures. Now, What are these measures? What is DAX? So once our data is prepared, the next step is to create calculations, okay? And for that we use DAX, which stands for Data Analysis Expressions. Kindly note it down. DAX is nothing but Data Analysis Expressions. Now, DAX helps us create custom measures that are not or not directly available in the data set. Okay, so here we will be using eight calculations that power every card and chart in the dashboard. Okay, so I have already told you what is a DAX measure because I have already worked with this data set earlier. So I got the results as well. So for example, here we'll be using total eight DAX measures along with each and every measures DAX formula, and we'll get the results, right? Simple. For example, we can calculate total sales, total profit, or even more advanced matrices like profit margin. Alright. So these measures allow us to go beyond basic data and actually extract meaningful insights. Also, please note it down that DAX is dynamic. This is very important and major art. Now, what dynamic means that the result can change automatically based on filters and visuals in the report. You will be seeing it of your own once you will be implementing all these things in your hands-on practical. So instead of doing manual calculations, Power BI handles everything in real time. So are you getting my point? I hope that I'm not sounding bored, right? Hope I'm clear as well. So DAX is what makes our analysis smarter and more powerful. All right, so let's go to the next slide. So now what is DAX functions? So for creating these measures, which we have already talked about in the previous slide, we use different types of DAX functions. So some of the most common ones include sum, divide, distinct count, average, etc. So all these functions help us to perform basic calculations on our data. So basically, these functions act like building blocks. Like mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, right? And just like that, um, these functions are the building blocks of our measures. So by using this, we can help to create meaningful calculations step by step. All right. So quickly have a look in these functions. Okay. So should I proceed forward? All right. Okay. So now moving on to the next slide, we have executive dashboard. So this is where everything comes together and our data finally starts telling a story. So after preparing the data and creating measures, we design interactive visualizations like bar charts, line graphs, and KPIs to represent the data in a clear and meaningful way. So instead of looking at raw numbers, we can now easily identify trends, compare performances, and spot patterns. All right, so here because I have already mentioned that I have already worked with this data and making the dashboard. So here I already got the results. So quickly let's start with the hands-on practical experimentation part. Okay.